And with us now to continue our conversation is Florida Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Congresswoman, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you. So it looks as though here we go again. Government shutdown threatened, but this time the CR is a non-clean CR bill. First of all, if you could just give us an explanation of what's going on, why we're doing this again as a country. And then second of all, what is it that you will support or not support?
Well, Jose, thanks for having me. And look, this situation is here we go again on steroids. 2 months in to Donald Trump's presidency, we're staring down a recession, a government shutdown, and a plummet in the stock market. It's just and a trade war. Recession, trade war, government shutdown, all in 2 months. Normally, when we pass a CR, we pass a clean CR. It's just moving forward the current fiscal year's funding, and so that we can negotiate a full year funding bill, which makes sure that we can appropriate funds directed by Congress, approved by the president, to things like housing and health care and so many other things. What this CR does is it slashes funding. 44% of Army Corps of Engineer construction jobs, that will jeopardize Everglades restoration funding here in Florida, vital for our economy as well as our environment. It cuts $23 billion in veterans funding. It opens the door to cutting Social Security, closing their offices, half of their offices, firing half of their employees, and lets Donald Trump and Doge and Elon Musk run rampant through continuing the firings that they've had because there are no guardrails, and they're basically yanking the rug out from under Congress, which has the authority exclusively in the Constitution to appropriate funds.
Congressman, so the Republicans have such a slim majority, right? I mean, if the Speaker loses 2 or 3 Republicans...
He can lose 1. And he's already losing 1.
So then it would fall on the Democrats to either support it or it's DOA.
Absolutely. And we need another Republican to grow a spine and stand up and push back against Donald Trump, not only on behalf of Congress's authority, but to make sure that we're not... I mean, this is a president who is the most significant enemy of veterans in American history. He's fired more veterans than any president in history. They're going to cut 83,000 jobs from the VA. While when we passed the PACT Act, which provides more health care benefits to veterans exposed to toxins, we have to be ramping up funding for the VA. This is going to leave veterans without the funding and care that they need. Veterans are going to die if this funding goes through the way it's proposed on Tuesday. We have to make sure we pass a clean CR, make sure we get past Friday. Appropriators, I sit on the Appropriations Committee, we've said we can come together and finish the job. I know the top line agreement for spending, the negotiations are very close, but what the Republicans are going to let Donald Trump do if they vote for this is have free rein to continue the indiscriminate massive firings, the disrespect of our veterans, the risk of cutting Social Security benefits for our seniors, and massive cuts in health care and Everglades funding.
Because I was wondering, because, there's been this discussion back and forth on, that when that joint address of Congress that the president gave just last week and some of the, I guess, manifestations of opposition to it. What is your message to people around the country who look to Democrats to be effective voices of opposition, not necessarily show a sign, but effective voices of opposition? What's your message to those people?
We are pushing back in Congress, in court, and in the community, making sure that we put pressure on Republicans through shining a spotlight on the massive cuts and harm that are going to come from the Republican cuts and what they're allowing, the MAGA extremists in Congress are allowing Trump and Elon Musk, an unelected billionaire, to do. We're fighting them in court successfully. Most of the court cases that have been litigated have come down against what Donald Trump is doing. I hope he and his administration comply with that. And then we're focused on Congress. This week we have a decisive vote. Democrats need to stand together, I think we will, against this CR that harms veterans, opens the door to cuts in Social Security, cuts vital construction programs, particularly in Florida, we're at risk of having Everglades funding cut. And that is going to be dangerous. And so when it goes to the Senate, we need to make sure that the Democrats in the Senate stick together, and I expect that they will.
You're seeing a government shutdown.
Well, the ball is in the Republicans' court on a government shutdown. We are ready to finish negotiating the rest of the full year bills, and we don't have to have the kinds of cuts that Republicans are proposing.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, it is always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.